In 1997, Oasis released Be Here Now, the fastest selling album in British music history. You might remember the album cover. It features a Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow plunged into a swimming pool in front of a stately home in Hertfordshire. So the story goes, the swimming pool was one step towards the scrapyard. Very rock and roll. What was less rock and roll though was the production expense sheet, which showed a princely sum of £1,000 paid for the roller. Perhaps it was poetic decadence. Perhaps they were working on the perception that a Rolls-Royce is a Rolls-Royce. Either way, musicians, royalty and film stars have all rocked the Silver Shadow look, and now you can as well. At some point the Rolls-Royce image changed. In the 60s and 70s, the Silver Shadow was the car to have if you were fashionably famous. You'd actually consider driving one of these things to a party. Today's Rolls driver doesn't have to pay a penny though, because the logbook will invariably belong to the person sat in the back. If you're driving a Rolls-Royce to a party today, chances are your name's not on the invoice. Let me get the door for you, sir. Sat here, I feel like, are we nearly there yet? Is more appropriate. Rolls-Royce focused on the driving experience more than you'd perhaps expect, however. Indeed, the reason for the release of the second generation Shadow 2 in 1977 was mechanical improvements. Among them, the introduction of rack and pinion steering and improved suspension. Then there's that advanced, if dubious, hydraulic brake and auto leveling suspension system borrowed from Citroën. The system resulted in a remarkable level of ride quality on 60s and 70s roads, but you probably wouldn't stake your egg and spoon on it now. We're spoilt by the composure of big cars these days, and to expect a 38-year-old Rolls-Royce, even a new one for that matter, to handle well in the twisty bits is probably to expect too much. But if you approach driving this car from the classic motoring experience sort of angle, you may even be pleasantly surprised. That L-Series V8 engine was optimised for torque rather than all-out power as well, making it very drivable. Outwardly, the Silver Shadow looked every bit the Rolls-Royce. Big, muscular, regal and conventional. Subtle differences on this Shadow 2 include the removal of vents under the headlights and more substantial rubber and stainless steel bumpers to satisfy American road safety laws. Whether you spent your time in the front or the back seat, the Silver Shadow must have felt suitably opulent in 1977. And in classic car terms, you get a lot of car for your money today. When this car was new, you'd have handed over £35,000, well in excess of 200 grand in today's money. A lot of money to drive a Silver Shadow out of the showroom. But nowadays you can pick up a good one for less than £10,000, which means you can live the rock and roll lifestyle too. Sadly, when I last looked, swimming pools had gone up in price. At the risk of sounding like a furniture advert, this offer is available for a limited time only. All classic car prices are going up, and even with uncertainty in the market, a sub £10,000 Rolls-Royce is likely to escape any bubble bursting. So Henry Royce set the standard for Rolls-Royce when he said, "Strive for perfection in everything that you do. Take the best and make it better. And when it doesn't exist, design it." These days we expect so much more than a badge. But in the days when the Silver Shadow ruled the stately homes and the red carpets, bigger was better. And you couldn't imagine anything bigger than this car, this side of the Atlantic, at least. Oasis didn't care how this car drove. I can tell you that for a fact, because the car in the swimming pool didn't have an engine. It was a Rolls-Royce, and that was enough. If you can't accept the Silver Shadow as a cornerstone of the British motoring industry, then perhaps just console yourself with the fact that you're driving around in an icon of British music. This time, I'll drive.